Congressman Perry, good to have you in, sir. Obviously, this is a move to demonstrate exactly where Blinken's decisions were today, his intentions. But we know this goes way back to when he actually sparked that letter, The Spies Who Lied. We all remember he wanted to provide the disinformation all the way back to the Hunter Biden campaign. Your reaction to this move and his move today to skip out, what that should tell the American people?
Well, the committee has given Secretary Blinken plenty of time, plenty of opportunities to come testify regarding the Afghanistan withdrawal, the horror that happened at the Abbey Gate. He has just simply refused. He will only come in when statutorily required to come in and talk about his budget request, and then feels off-put when he's asked questions that are outside of that purview. This is, they've just given him ample time and time again. And quite honestly, saying that he's going to the UN and he must be there for Biden's farewell speech is, it's a slap in the face to Americans, Gold Star families, those who have lost their lives and those who are now horrifically maimed for the rest of their lives because of his poor judgment in the Afghanistan withdrawal. So the contempt is absolutely appropriate. He is not above the law. He's been given lawful subpoenas from a lawfully constituted committee, unlike others so-called in Congress in the past, and has just refused to come. And there has to be a consequence for that. If he wants to attend a farewell address, what he should be attending is the farewell to the nuclear program from Iran. That would be a great one if Biden would negotiate that, or a farewell to supporting proxies by Iran who attacked Israel. That'd be a great farewell address to attend, and maybe we'd find, a little more favor with him not attending the American people's answers to what happened in Afghanistan. But essentially, he's just blowing us off, blowing off those families, blowing off the country, and it's unacceptable.
Yeah, and to stand there, like you said, at the UN today, as the Middle East is looking at a wider escalation of war, the IDF announcing wider airstrikes on Hezbollah, taking out a top commander there, and Joe Biden talking about the world and Iran's president there, as you mentioned, the sanctions, the way that they feel so emboldened under this weak leadership, yet there Joe Biden addresses the United Nations like the world is not on fire. It's somewhat confusing to a lot of us who are looking at our biggest ally, Israel.
Well, you're absolutely right. Of course, Israel was responding to the attacks, and President Biden, for his part, is trying to get Israel to lead in a ceasefire. Who gets punched in the face and then is told to stand down and not respond and defend their people? Yet that is where Biden is. And quite honestly, his address today, while the world is on fire, is indicative of where his mind is. He's probably remembering back to a time when President Trump was the president and these wars weren't occurring, because that is the state of his mind. So in a way, we can't blame him, but it just signals to the rest of the world the weakness by this current administration and the weakness that will be provided if Harris is elected to continue this same Biden policy.
And Harris will be campaigning in Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh. I want to get your reaction to a little clip of video where Volodymyr Zelensky was in Scranton, Ukraine's president. He was there with Senator Bob Casey and Governor Josh Shapiro. I believe we have this video here. It looked like sort of a campaign stop for Harris. They were signing some munitions as well. There's been some reaction to that, and maybe he shouldn't have been taking sides. And you have the governor, Josh Shapiro, who we know Kamala Harris passed over, maybe because of his Jewish faith, although they said it's not that. What do you think of the optics? Obviously Donald Trump has been on the record saying he will end this war immediately, and he doesn't want more people dying, Congressman Perry.
Well, I think it's very confusing to the American people, certainly to the people of Pennsylvania. As far as we know, there's a war going on in Ukraine, and we would think that the leader of that country would be at home attending to the war, hoping to defeat the Russians, not campaigning in Pennsylvania. It just doesn't make any sense. And of course, we know that Zelensky will be asking for more and more tax funds from Americans while he's here and while he's likely to come back here. Americans in Pennsylvania just don't understand why he's not in Ukraine attending to his people and attending to trying to get a victory over the Russians in his own country. It's quite honestly, it's outrageous.
Yeah, I just think a lot of people are a little bit confused to that, and why so many other leaders have sort of played it down the middle, even yesterday when we saw the Emirates president visiting Joe Biden. But clearly it depends where people's align, especially with the state of the world today. Finally, Trump's would-be assassin, Ryan Routh, in court yesterday. We know that there was this letter that he penned asking, put a bounty on Donald Trump's head. They released him. They're not releasing him. He's got these 2 federal gun charges. But the House task force investigating has their first hearing on Thursday in regards to this attempt. What would you like to see clarified there? It seems like there's been a lot of stonewalling and a lot of time when, for Donald Trump out on the campaign trail, there is no time to make sure he has the utmost safety.
Well, this is just another indicator of how failed the Secret Service is, unfortunately, and we're not getting the answers nearly quickly enough. The FBI refuses to give us answers. I've got a whole host of questions, just like my bosses in Pennsylvania and all around the country. If this guy has no money, how is he affording this counsel? How did he afford to travel to Ukraine? Where did he get the weapon if he's already, a felon? How did he get this weapon? How did he get in there and sit there for 12 hours without being detected? Where was the Secret Service sweep ahead of the president's attendance at that location? There's a whole host of questions, and we're getting no answers at all from the FBI. Meanwhile, the next president of the United States is out on the campaign trail in harm's way every day, and the American people have no confidence in this Democrat-led Secret Service to protect either one of the nominees, quite honestly.
Now, and Donald Trump announcing he'll be back in Butler, Pennsylvania on October the 5th for a rally. Should be a very emotional day there as well. Congressman Scott Perry, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us here today, sir.
Thank you. God bless you, Bianca.
Thank you. You too.